Well, here we are at the back of the engine. Now we've got earlier videos out on splitting the tractor, taking the clutch off, the flywheel off and all that, and we're going to fit a rear engine seal to the back of the tractor. And I have an S, can you see that? Oh yes, I think you can. An S41725 rear engine seal. So look, it's been years since I've done one of these, so we'll probably be learning this together. Some jobs I do a lot of and you just know them off by heart. This one I'm learning again. So all we'll do, there's 7/16 bolts that hold these little tin covers on. So we'll pop all them out. I've given this a wash. The back housing here, I've given this all a wash so we don't have junk dropping into the crank, down onto the crank. What do we have there? We have two to close together, then there's a gap. So we'll just pop these screws out. Take the tin covers off. I'm on my squeaky chair too, I suppose that'll come through the video, but anyway, I'll try not to squeak around so much. We've got a bit of noise there today. The neighbours are out there with the chainsaw, but I think if I can get my microphones working properly, you won't hear much of that. So that's the bottom plate off. Now I don't know, should we mark them or not? I think I'll just sit them on my stool over here in the order that they came off. And we'll have a bit of a look and see once we can get in here. Get out of there. Now this engine's got nice clean oil in from when we did the engine rebuild, and I did have some nice clean oil sitting down the bottom in there, so we know it is leaking. We'll get this last bolt out. Beautiful, look at that. So I'll put that on the top. Look, I don't think you can mix them up, but you just never know. Now, when we have a look at the Spar XS 41725, I'll pull it out, and one thing you might notice for a seal, which is strange, is it's got a hole in it. So that will obviously go to the top. So the lip here goes towards the oil, and the tin plate holds this in, and the force of holding it in helps like spread it a bit, put a little bit of tension on things. So let's see if we can find that lip. I think I can see it here. Yep, there it is. That's fairly hard. I'll try and get in there and hook him out if I can. It's that hard. It doesn't want to flex. But see, the new one you could flex that in and out a little bit. It looks like it may have to be turned to get in because the seal is wider than the gap that we have to deal with. So I'll get another O-ring pick. Where's the join? There it is. No, stop looking, I got it. I'll see if I can get this to turn enough to get that out. Alright, this is going to be piece by piece. I think I'll turn the cameras off and fiddle along. It's not very good bloody viewing, I'm sure of that. And once we get it out, we'll come back and have another chat. Okay, I got the other little seal out, and I got it out in little pieces like that, and it was hard as buggery and it took me ages to do. So I've cleaned it all out. I've given this a bit of a sand around and a wash to make sure there's no lips there. But what I'm doing now, I've got the seal greased up, and I've got the lip side going down towards the engine, and I'm just slowly feeding it in, making sure it doesn't catch on the crankshaft here, just by hand. I'll see if I can push it around a bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to roll this front edge so I can get it pushed in there. And by doing that, it'll actually want to turn on its own once you get it there. Now I've greased everything up. I'll try and push him around a bit. Oh, it's getting a bit hard there now. But the idea is to feed it in like that, then try and get it to roll so it goes into the right position. Now we don't want to use anything sharp really, so I've got a bit of an old blunt screwdriver here, so we should be able to pop that down in there and get this seal to roll over. There we go, we're coming on in. We should be able to just push that down there now with something that's not sharp and roll that edge in. Just like that. And we're just looking to push the edge down so it pops in under the groove there. So that gives me the opportunity to turn this one over a bit. Try and push him around. Bring him in just that bit. And just push that lip down that seems to want to go. Where it should be. Ah, me. Doesn't matter what grease you put on it, don't get all worried about that. Pop in there, will you? Oh. There we go. Now I'll just roll this edge like you saw on the top there. And sit him forward into his place. Now that's feeling good. Now I just need to make sure it's even all the way and it's not quite under here. Bit hard to see down the bottom there, but I just need to, it's just not sitting in quite as I'd like it down under here. So I need to roll this edge a little bit. That should help it in. So you've got to get the two ends to join, and that's what I've been fiddling with just there. Now look, they're at the bottom. I don't want them at the bottom. So I have a very blunt O-ring pick here. I'm going to try and find that join. And we'll just turn this seal. There we go. And the gap's just here at the moment. There you go, straight up and down for the gap. It's just straight here. And all I'm doing with the rounded end here is just making sure that it's sitting right up in where I believe it should be. Yep, and look, I'm happy with that. So it does have, you can see just a little bit of protrusion here. Now when you push it in, it springs back out. So the idea of that is that, pardon me, well I believe that the idea of that is this puts pressure on that seal, forces it forward, and that holds the tension. As the seal gets forced forward, it spreads that out a little bit. So it pushes this little lip here. There's a small lip on the seal. It pushes that hard against the housing, and then it also puts a little bit of tension on this lip here. So on the crank there. So it's all a good thing. I'll start doing the bolts up here nice and gentle, and we'll try and do it up evenly and just see what it feels like. It's nice and soft, the new seal, compared with the old one at least anyway, but it's still quite a firm seal. These have a spring washer and a flat washer because they're going into the tin plate here. There will be a torque for these somewhere. I'm just going to do them up. There we go. I don't know if the sun's come out and the shed's creaking away. Just give it a bit of a tidy up with the petrol. Shouldn't really use petrol, but I just find it so bloody good to use, so I use it. You use what you like. Spring washer, flat washer. Slide him up in. So I believe all this plate does is hold the seal forward and put tension. The plate doesn't seal itself, the seal does the sealing. I'll just do this little collar up here. And one more. So I'm imagining, and I'll take the socket off and do some by hand. I'm imagining as we come up firm, yeah, there's still a little gap there. Sort of sprung a little bit, the plate. Now they're only 1/4 UMC bolts, so don't go leaning on them too hard. Okay. Now you can just feel, it a bit springy there, but then you just get to there, and that's where it's nipped right up. You can feel it go hard all of a sudden. And when we start the tractor, the grease that we put on there will give it lubrication until oil splashes around. There's no reason to seal behind these plates at all, really. So look at that. That's it. That's job done. Look, I think that'll be nice. It looks like a good job. I'm happy with how the seal went in the end and had a bit of tension pushing back out. So we'll call that done. We'll go back and do a bit of bugging around with the flywheel or the clutch or something. We'll find something to do.